Make the speech a little bit longer, and if you have anything to say, don't bother, just interrupt me, just don't worry about it. But I want to thank Kevin. He's going to be so incredible. I know that for a fact.
Thank
what
you.
he did and where he came
thank
from.
you,
And
Mr.
he's
President.
going to be outstanding. And congratulations to his very exciting new role and a very important role. And thanks also to Kevin's wonderful, young, handsome Wesley Cooper-Smith. Because Wesley, where's Wesley? He's great.
I don't know.
He's
I have
going to
no
do
idea
a
who
job.
Wesley is.
But he'll never be Kevin, right, Kevin? Because
No,
if he
never
is,
will be me. You're absolutely
you know
right.
that story, right?
Thank
you
God.
can't allow that to happen. That's right.
No.
He has better hair than you, Kevin. Is that right? Kevin sort of
that's
acknowledged
uncalled for.
Anyway, both great
Wow.
people. They're great people, and they're going to
see
do
right through the
tremendously.
beast
Let
on
me
your
also
head.
express my gratitude for Heritage Board Chairman Bob Van Andel Gaby. I love that name. Where are we, Bob?
It's like
Where are we? What a name. I love that name.
W-I-T-H.
Thank you very much. I got it okay. I practiced that one a little bit. And Barb, Steve Moore is so fantastic. And Steve, I want to thank you very much because you've been there
Low
right
energy
from the
drunk
beginning.
today. Welcome aboard, everybody. I
Wanted
am
to
your
put him on the
KevinlyFather,
Fed,
Kevin
and,
Williams.
we just about got there, but some extraneous things happened, meaning...
Some what? What happened? Hold on.
We just about got there, but some extraneous things happened, meaning
right.
very
We'll let it go.
unfair things, but some extraneous
Very
things
unfair.
happened.
Unfair,
meaning,
so unfair.
Very unfair things, but we'll do it again, except at a higher level, okay? I promise you that. And I mean it, too.
Oh, he's going to run again.
A friend of
just announced
mine
he's
and a
gonna run
man
again.
of great courage and just a really terrific person, especially when you see what's happening on our border. Tom Homan. Tom is just amazing.
Okay.
And likewise, Mark Morgan, right from the beginning, has been with us. Mark, where is Mark?
All right, nobody cares.
Mark,
See if we can jump
thank
ahead
you.
Just a little bit.
And he danced very well, too.
Hold on. Sorry.
Folks, we almost got you to
Volume.
the end, right? We almost got you to the end, but you did a great job. Thanks, Sean, very much.
Okay.
It's a true honor to join you this evening. For nearly 50 years, this legendary
Yeah, court cases. Extraneous.
institution, which is what it is, has been at the forefront of
Yeah, this is very much a Jesus place. This is the Heritage Fund or Heritage Foundation. It's the Heritage Annual Leadership Conference, and I don't know if that's related to the Heritage Fund or not, which is a Washington conservative think tank. You can take out the think part of it. It's just a tank.
of the conservative movement, helping lead the fight to defend our cherished American history, culture, and traditions. Everyone here tonight, very special people, is united by the same key ideas and the same core values. We believe that the Declaration of Independence and the American Constitution represent the pinnacle of human civilization. Our founding documents are not a source of shame. They are a
Founding document is not the Constitution.
source of pride and great pride.
Well, actually, the Articles of Confederation were so bad that they went back and scrapped them all. So, not very proud of that. And that was the founding of the country. It was the Articles of Confederation, not the Constitution.
We believe that the United States of America is the greatest republic in the history of the world.
Judge Janine said about an hour ago, the First Amendment has been part of this country since the Constitution. It was not. It was an amendment to the Constitution. It wasn't in the Constitution. That's where the amendment part of it comes.
In America, the people do not answer to the politicians. The politicians answer to the people. That's the way it's supposed to be.
And are you?
We reject the discrimination and oppression of so-called equity, and we embrace the eternal principle of equality under the law. Law and order, thank you. So true. Law and order must be upheld without bias or prejudice, and the Constitution means what it says as written.
The Constitution means what it says. I mean, I cannot stress that enough. Whatever the Constitution says, that's what I do. That's what I does.
Condemn censorship, blacklisting, and cancel culture because we know that the lifeblood of a free society is free speech, which is being taken away from us very rapidly in case you haven't noticed, very, very rapidly. We don't have a free press or a fair press, and free speech has been eroded, but we're going to get it back. We believe that America is a sovereign nation with a sovereign people, which means that we must have strong, secure, sovereign borders. Not what we have now, Tom, right? Not what we have now. So sad to watch what's happening to our country. And we believe that economic security is national security. We believe that America is safe and the world is calm when America is strong. We want peace through strength. We believe that the first duty of government is to protect and defend the interests of its own citizens. In other words, to put America first.
Yeah. Protected citizens, got it.
We believe that America's destiny depends on upholding the Judeo-Christian values and principles of our nation's founding. And above all, we know that freedom is not a gift from government.
They specifically.
Government freedom is a gift from God.
Right, but they were all about separation of church and state. That's a given.
There are traditions that
It was based on the Magna Carta, which is British values.
have sustained and strengthened our country through nearly 250 years. And when I say strengthened, I mean really strong. It's held it together. I don't think.
Thanks for explaining the strengthened is strong. I was like, what is that? What? But strengthened. I know that word. What? Oh, strong.
There's ever been a time where our country has been in a position like it is today, and it's very, very sad to see.
Oh.
Very, very sad to see.
Is it?
Yet today, each of these principles is threatened like never before. They're under assault by a radical left
It's always like never before.
movement that seeks to demolish everything this organization exists to defend. The greatest danger to America is not our enemies from the outside. The greatest
Is convincing the world it never existed?
danger is the destruction of our nation from within. But while the
Well, no, I would go nukes. Nukes, destruction of our nation from within. So, yeah, if you're talking about white supremacy terrorists, yeah, I'm with you.
challenges for our country may
He's in Florida. Amelia Island, Florida. I don't know if that's how you say it. That's how I say it.
loom large, our opponents are far weaker and more vulnerable than they appear, and we are far stronger than anyone can fully understand.
Okay.
I stand before
Not even you cannot grasp how much you won the election by that you lost.
you today bearing a simple message.
What is that?
As long as America First conservatives have the courage to fight boldly for an
Turn my
agenda
mic up.
that defends American workers, American families, and
How's the volume on me now? Am I enough? I don't know. I ask that question every day,
America's glory.
and then I cry into the mirror, go back to bed, put myself into a fetal position, and suck my thumb.
Glorious cultural inheritance, then the radical left will lose, and we will win bigger than anyone thought possible.
Better. Ah!
Over the past 15 months, Americans have been horrified.
So low energy. Just he should be curling up in a ball right now because there's nothing going on with this man. Over the past 15 months, do I have to read this part? Because I read this part all the time and no one ever.
By the cascade of
Why aren't you chanting? Why aren't you rich people chanting my name?
total disaster. Inflation is the highest in 40 years, and it's going much higher.
Is it?
Sorry to inform you of that.
Okay.
Steve, I think you can say that perhaps better than anybody, but it's going
I
much
don't know
higher.
that's true. I don't
Gas prices are now $4, $5, or even $6 a gallon, and
Ha! Lie! I just paid $5.99. It's true, actually.
likewise, they're going much higher. It was $1.87 just a very short time ago. Think of that. $1.87.
Uh-huh. During the pandemic when no one was going anywhere and supply was over demand. Yeah, that happens.
And we had so much we didn't know what to do with it.
No, you're supposed to fill up the strategic reserves, and you told the Interior Department to do that, and the Interior Department's like, we don't. That's not what we. Okay, and then the whole thing fell apart.
Our border is being
And then you bragged about doing it, but you never did it. You never filled the strategic reserves.
overrun by millions of illegal aliens from over 140 different countries.
Woo!
Countries that many people have never even heard about.
We did it.
We have no idea who these people are, where they come
Give me a country. Give me any country. And I'll tell you whether I've heard it or not.
from. There's no check.
Namibia, Tanzania, so many shithole countries, so many never people. Norway.
There's no balances. There's no nothing. They just stream into our country by the millions. We now have the weakest border in history. And just 1 year ago, a little more, we had the strongest border in the history of our country, strongest that we've had in American history. And that included drugs, and it included all of the other things that come into our country that are so bad, human trafficking, mostly in women. And
I was going to go Howard Johnson, Marcy. Look at the orange and blue combination. It's like it was a Howard Johnson that was built in the late 50s, and now it's 1982. And this is the wall that faces the sun.
It was at record lows, and now it's at record highs. Nobody's even keeping count anymore. It's so bad.
That is complete nonsense.
It's become so bad. Our communities are under siege from a bloody wave of violent crime with murders, the highest in nearly 30 years.
I was murdered twice last week. Twice.
Our children are being indoctrinated in school with wicked anti-American ideologies and demented left-wing gender theories. Our nation has been humiliated in Afghanistan, where we had soldiers killed, left American hostages.
I wonder if on his teleprompter it actually says, like, turn. Turn at the end of the sentence. Our nation has been humiliated in Afghanistan, where we had helicopters, and think of it, 50 million vehicles, 50
behind.
No one's ever seen those mini trucks. Think of it.
And left
Like,
$85 billion
no one
in
has
American
ever seen
military hardware, the
before.
best anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in
We
the
handed
world.
it over to the Taliban.
Taliban.
They weren't even expecting it. They just
No,
got it.
They got it.
We surrendered. We surrendered.
Surrendered.
And remember, for 18 months, think of it, for 18 months,
Think
not
of it.
one American soldier was killed. I spoke to the leader of the Taliban, Abdul. I said, Abdul, I won't tell you exactly, but I said, don't do it. And they didn't do it.
And I won't tell you exactly, but I said, don't do it. And he said, and I said, I know where your family lives. And he said, why would you ask that? And I said, ask somebody else.
Do it. They didn't do it. 18 months until that horrible day where 13 soldiers were killed, and nobody mentions the ones that were so.
And nobody talks about the ones that got away with their arms and left horribly disfigured, lives ruined.
Badly, horrifically injured, no arms, no legs, just blown.
He just no arms, no legs, so we throw him in the pool. We call him Bob. It's a little joke we have.
To pieces for no reason whatsoever.
No reason.
China
Not, by the way, not killed by the Taliban, killed by ISIS-X, that Trump calls ISIS-K.
no longer respects us. Iran no longer fears us. And with their monstrous invasion of Ukraine, Russia showed just how weak they think our leaders are. They would never have done that under the Trump administration. Never.
Couldn't remember what. Never have invaded Ukraine under Trump administration.
Not even a possibility.
Not even. If I had
Not even
fairy,
a possibility. This is the
I-
most dangerous period in the history of our country. Right now, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is the most dangerous in the history of our country.
Oh, this is your opinion? Thank you for letting us know.
Never before has our world been so unsafe. And that's because of the massive power of
So you guys, you weren't alive for the whole Bay of Pigs, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the brinkmanship of the Cold War, but they've never been more unsafe.
weaponry. The weaponry today is at a level that nobody's ever seen before. We have it, and others have it,
Yeah,
but there's never
that's the way the future works.
been anything like it. I rebuilt
It is a small crowd. It's just a gathering of high-priced donors,
our
high-value donors.
military.
These are the richest of the rich who get to come to this meeting, and Trump comes out and does his dog and pony show for them because he wants the money.
Spent $2.5 trillion, and we redid the nuclear capability. We had weapons that didn't even work. We had weapons that
He didn't. He completely ignored the nuclear triad. In fact, remember during the campaign in 2016, he didn't know what the nuclear triad meant.
Nobody had any idea if they did.
And this, by the way, this is not just me saying that he ignored the nuclear triad. General Keane said that today on Fox News. Why? Because it's true.
It did work.
And where's money for when will someone start paying attention to the nuclear triad? By the way, it's land, sea, air, sea being mostly nuclear submarines, etc. Guess who just gave that a bunch of money in the new budget? Joe Biden. Joe Biden is rebuilding the nuclear triad.
And everything is either new or renovated, and it's an incredible thing that we did. But you just hope to God we never have to use them.
Yeah.
But now the word nuclear is being thrown around like it's candy, and you can't do that. You
Excuse me, but who is throwing candy around? Where can I go to this place?
can't do that. That's not a word that can be thrown around. It was never talked about. It was never discussed. Nobody wanted to
Nobody talked about nuclear before
talk
this?
about it.
No one.
Too big.
What happened to all the fire and fury? What happened to taking care of the hurricanes, sir?
Big a problem, too catastrophic. And you look at what's going on between Russia and Ukraine. The whole thing is everything that
I want candy. Hey, Bo Diddley. They're all the same song.
you see, every person that you see dying, it would not have happened
I went to UC Davis.
if the
That's a lie. I went to UC Irvine.
Trump administration
Trump.
were there. And it didn't
Trump.
happen for 4 years. People say, oh, do you think that's true? What didn't
You see his demonstrative gesticulation? Watch, here it is. Look at this energy here.
were there, and
Yeah.
it didn't happen for 4 years.
There you
People
go.
say, oh, do you think that's true? What didn't happen, nor was it even thought of. Russia took
It's like Vanna White on Quaaludes.
Georgia under President Bush.
Yeah.
They took Crimea under President Obama. They took
Yeah, they took Crimea. They took Georgia under President Bush's second term. They took Crimea under President Obama's second term. And they're taking Ukraine under your... Oh, that's right. Ouch. That's got to hurt, buddy.
nothing under me.
You're
Nothing.
one term. One term. You're one term, buddy.
And I took our troops, by the way, out of Syria and Iraq, and
Oh, hold on. I got to turn him down. He suddenly got very loud and angry. Go ahead.
was just months away from getting out of Afghanistan. I'm the one that brought it down to 2,000 soldiers. It was
This is
a number much
2,000 soldiers, is this?
higher than that.
Was that like Pete Souza, who was the photographer for Obama? By the way, yeah, there's a great story about Trump stealing the photos, the White House photos that belong to all of us, to make his book, A Journey Together, or whatever the hell it's called. He stole them, basically, from the White House photographer. That's her gig. She gets to use those photos to publish a book to make up for those 4 lost years of her life.
That, as you know, Sean, way, way, way up, and we got it down to 2. We were all set to leave. We were going to leave with dignity, great
I want to leave with dignity. Hot dignity, specifically.
dignity and great strength. And they respected us. Remember, not one soldier killed in 18 months. I told them, don't kill our soldiers. You do. We're going to hit you so hard, nobody will ever have been hit hard
Tell a story about his house.
like you're going to get hit.
Yeah, tell a story.
And they didn't do anything. They didn't do it. They were all set.
I mean, they took over the country, sir, after you. I tell you what, please don't kill any of the soldiers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to empty the country out of our soldiers completely. And then don't kill them, okay? So take over the whole country, but go ahead, because we're not going to be there. I'm pulling everybody out. They're just going to be at Bagram. That's it.
They wanted us to leave. It was great. They wanted us to leave. They weren't
It was great. The Taliban wanted us to do something, and we did it. It was super, super awesome. Well, I call it a win-win.
going to kill, and what they did was terrible, and what we did was terrible. We did it through weakness. We were going to keep Bagram,
They didn't kill the American soldiers. That was not the Taliban.
but everybody was going to be out. The reason we were keeping Bagram is because of China. It's 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons.
Okay.
It cost billions and billions of dollars to build many years ago.
And then so China wouldn't make nuclear weapons, because the whole 20 years we were in Afghanistan, China was making nuclear weapons.
And right now it looks to me like China's going
I mean, we were like 10 minutes away, if you want to look at it that way. If we're talking as the crow flies.
to end up owning and operating Bagram. We fled, left
and
the lights
operating.
on late at night, and we fled, and they did leave.
Bagram would be a franchise. We would turn the Air Force into a franchise like a Subway. Subways all over the world are run by one company, the New York City Subway. They run all the subways in the world, including Paris, where, translated into English, it means where Princess Diana got killed.
Leave all the dogs behind, by the way, for those people that love dogs. They tried to say, oh, we didn't, but they did.
I have never had a dog, but I understand some people enjoy their company. I'll tell you what I'll say. I would have pulled out with Hot Diggity Dog. That's the kind of dog that I love. That's a favorite kind of dog for me.
Under Biden, they got everything. So you look at Georgia, you look at Crimea.
Okay, Georgia, Biden was a senator?
And under Biden, they got everything. And under me, they got nothing except we pulled troops out of
What are you talking about? You're talking about the Taliban in Georgia?
Other countries. They always said that I was very nice to Russia, the fake news. These people back there, they said that I was always very nice. But
Dude, they gave you a soccer ball. Do you know how important that is in Russia?
But I was the one that killed the pipeline, the biggest thing they've ever done.
Didn't kill it.
I funded NATO with $400
A pipeline that wasn't finished was the biggest thing that Russia's ever done. By the way, it was the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. There was already a Nord Stream 1. But 2, for some reason, was the biggest thing.
$130 billion by saying if you don't pay up, we're not going to defend you. And they all paid up.
Nope, they didn't all pay up. In fact, Denmark just announced it was going to meet the 2% guideline. It's not a bill.
Well, most of
They didn't do that under Trump, by the way. They did that under Biden. Sweden and Finland, who for decades, since the 1940s, have said, we're not going to be part of NATO. Finland, for a very specific reason, it was a war with Russia. That's another story. They've decided they want to be in NATO.
them paid up, but the rest is coming in. They never saw anything like it. The Secretary General
In just a very short period of time, in the next 2 weeks, by the end of the month, along with my health care, Finland is going to be paying up.
said that it's the most incredible thing he's ever seen because Bush went and made a speech. Obama made a couple of speeches. They never mentioned the fact that everybody was delinquent. They didn't pay. And they asked me, one of
They all made multiple speeches.
the presidents,
Nobody was delinquent. It's not a bill. It's a guideline. They suggest that you try and put in at least 2% of your GDP into your military's budget. Not into NATO. Into your military's budget.
of the countries at a closed meeting, 28 countries at that time, they said, well, sir, are you saying that because they knew I was very unhappy, because we were paying we were paying for most of it, in my opinion, but a very high amount. So we're defending
Before he said 98%, which is incorrect.
Europe. At the same time, they rip us
He's just forgotten that number. He doesn't know how much we pay.
off on trade, very, very seriously rip us off. And he said, does that mean
I'm still waiting for him to say something negative about Putin.
that you won't protect us in case, if we don't pay, you won't protect us from Russia, was the Soviet Union, but now Russia? I said, that's exactly what it means. Now, if I
Yep, we were just going to back out of Article 5 under Trump.
said, no, I don't mean that, then why would they pay? So somebody had to say it. I was amazed it didn't get out. I was amazed. The
Because it didn't happen.
fake news didn't pull it out. I don't know. Maybe nobody wanted to talk about it. I said, no, that's exactly. And the money started to flow in. And the Secretary General said, I never saw money like this in my life. It started to flow in.
Did
I had
he
to
say
give him
that?
that answer. It was a risky answer to give, too, because people would say, oh, that's a terrible thing to say. But that's the way you have to do it, I guess. But I put more sanctions on Russia than anyone else. I gave
He didn't. That's nonsense.
Ukraine javelins while
No. He tried to block the javelins from Ukraine. As it turned out, he hadn't the power to block those javelins. So he eventually had to release them. Because those were appropriated to Ukraine specifically by Congress under the Foreign Military Funds Act. It's not, he tried to stop them.
Obama gave them blankets. You remember this statement?
Obama didn't give them blankets.
Oh, he's terrible. He's giving javelins, and
Jeeps,
the other one's giving blankets.
night
Well, it turned
vision
out I was
goggles,
right when I gave
defensive
the javelins. I was
armor,
the one that gave them the
military
weaponry to do that
vehicles.
very big and important first part of
And now Biden's given them more than $3 billion in aggressive offensive weapons.
the war and show something very special. They said I was very nice to Putin. The only person who didn't think that was true is Putin.
So tell us what a monster Putin is.
To say, you're killing me on the pipeline. How the hell? Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. Nobody until I came along. I heard of
pretty sure Putin had it.
I said, what is Nord Stream 2? It's the biggest pipeline imaginable, all of Europe. But
Imagine, no one could ever imagine a bigger pipeline, except for all the ones that are longer and carry more material. But yeah,
to Germany, and I ended it. But we have a leader now
didn't end it.
who is incapable of understanding what the hell is happening. And these are very dangerous times. Immediately approved the pipeline, by the way. I ended it and they approved it. You know,
And that gave Germany leverage.
you've heard it 1,000 inform you of that.
Oh,
Steve, I think you can say that perhaps better than anybody,
What
but
the hell
it's
happened?
going much higher. Gas price,
hold on.
an important first part of the war, and show something very special. They said, I don't know, maybe nobody wanted to talk about it. I said, no, that's exactly, and the money started to flow in.
Okay, we're
Who
almost
didn't
there.
think that was true is Putin. He used
I know
to
what
say,
happened.
you're killing me on the pipe.
Okay,
Well, I
pipeline, yeah.
ended it and they approved it. You know, you've heard it 1,000 times. He killed Keystone, which is our Keystone XL, as they call it officially.
It's not officially. He did. It wasn't ours. It was Canada's.
But he let them have their big pipeline going from Russia into Germany and other parts of Europe. And he let them have it virtually the first day. The only things
It wasn't, but okay.
Democrats are really good at is cheating in elections and assaulting Republicans like never before with law enforcement. That's what happens. That's what they do. All you have to do is take a look around. They cheat
What?
like hell, and they assault with the law enforcement. You could take the
What?
5 worst presidents in American history
Yeah.
and put them together, and they would not have done the damage that Joe Biden has done in just a little more than 1 year. Yet this is also one of the most precious moments of opportunity in the history of our country. Because of the extremism of the Biden administration and the
Oh,
left,
sorry, Cooch.
our opponents are full.
Cujo, though, I heard that COVID was all done, and we don't have to wear masks anymore, so I don't think you have COVID. The positive test was probably wrong. Sorry.
Fully and completely exposed. We know it doesn't work. So when we go back in, we can do it the right way, and we can do what has to be done. And nobody can really criticize us very badly.
Oh, I can.
That's probably the good thing about what is going on. If we do our jobs, their sinister and corrupt left-wing system will be discredited, defeated, and discarded forever.
No.
Socialism, wokeism, and left-wing fascism and communism will be tossed into the ash heap of history beside every other twisted
Would have also accepted dumpster.
ideology that has tried and failed to destroy the United States of America. But we got very close, and we're coming very close. We have to act quickly because they are trying to destroy our country. Nobody can be so stupid to do the things they're doing with open borders.
Like
And
what?
no voter ID for
There's no open voter. There's no voter ID.
elections. No voter.
Nope, that's not in there. There's voter IDs in there. If you want to have voter ID, you can have voter ID, but you have to be able to let somebody fill out an affidavit if their voter ID doesn't work or if they're old.
Why do they want no voter ID?
They don't.
You know, when you went into the Democrat National Convention,
Democratic?
they had an ID that was bigger than the person's chest.
No,
It was like
it's nonsense.
a prison
Remember, they didn't have a DNC. Remember? It didn't exist because of COVID.
card, actually.
Remember? Don't you don't remember like 2 years ago.
Massive picture,
You had yourself a convention and no platform.
fingerprints, this, that. But they don't want any form of ID to vote. Now, that
No, it's nonsense.
only means one thing. They want to cheat. That's the only reason. There's no other reason in the world
Nope.
not to have it.
But you can have voter ID. You can ask for voter ID. You can decide what forms you accept. But if the person doesn't have those forms, they get to fill out an affidavit, which is already the case in many different states.
But to achieve this goal, we must continue to stand on the America First platform that brought millions and millions of new voters to our Republican Party and to our side. If you look at what's happened with the Hispanic population, it's unbelievable. People don't even believe it. Look at my numbers during the election in Miami and Florida and along the Texas border, mostly Hispanic, and we won it all. We
No.
won it all. Never happened.
They
The
didn't
governor
win along the
called
border.
me, said that not since Reconstruction. I said, by Reconstruction, I assume you mean Civil War? He said, that's right. Not since the Civil War has anything happened like happened in the last election with Hispanics. Our theme was
Reconstruction, I assume you mean the Civil War. No, actually, Reconstruction was a period of time after the Civil War when the country was being reconstructed. That's okay.
Make America Great Again, and I believe it was the most successful theme.
The Civil War with the Spanish, when they gave us the Spanish flu during Reconstruction in 1917.
In politics and the history of our country, and maybe anywhere
Every time he tries to look smart, it's just dumb.
in the world. Make America Great Again.
Yeah. We're not going to get to the end of this because I keep pausing it, and they're gonna take down the feed at the end, but I don't care.
We grew the conservative movement into a working people's movement, and we transformed the Republican Party into the Working People's Party. And we are never, ever going back. We've increased our size massively. We're winning areas now that we never thought possible.
Like my boyfriend.
I think we're going to have a tremendous 22. We had a tremendous 20, but bad things
No, well, you lost. All of it. All of it!
happened. Very, very bad things happened.
You
and we're going to
lost.
have a great, great 20.
And then, if there's any doubt, in 2021, on January 5th, you lost both Senate races, which then lost you the Senate. You lost. And no race in history has been watched as closely as the Georgia Senate race. And you lost. You got creamed in both cases.
24, but we have to watch the vote counters.
Yeah, you did. In that Senate race. There were more watchers of that Senate race than there were during the actual election.
Our movement must continue to pursue a populist, nationalist, economic agenda that puts working families before globalist politicians and woke multinational corporations who are mentally ill in many cases. They're sick.
Where's your logo?
What are they doing? And the people that they cater to are not believing. And you see what's
on.
going on in
I
Florida
can fix
and
that.
other places. And the people aren't going to take it, and they're not taking it. They're fighting back, finally. After decades of spilling blood and spending treasure on everyone's interests but our own, we must have a foreign policy focused on the core mission of defending our country, our citizens, and our people. And we must have a social policy that is pro-family, pro-life, pro-God, and 100% pro-America. Has to happen.
Good.
Already we have shown the power of our winning formula, working closely with many of the great people at Heritage over the 4 incredible years that we've worked with you a lot. And we were just discussing it with Kevin.
Yeah.
They're going to work
who?
on some other things that are going to be very exciting, I think, Kevin. I think maybe the most exciting of all. We passed the largest tax cuts and reforms in American history. And I'm all for reducing taxes further, not the other way. They want to raise taxes. This is the first time they want to raise taxes.
Are you talking about Rick Scott, the Republican GOP senatorial leader? He wants to raise taxes on everyone.
And they're supposed to get elected. All of these things they want to do. How do you get elected? You get elected by cheating. That's how they get elected. We cut
Or by getting more votes than you.
a record number of job-killing regulations. Greatest in history. It's frankly...
Has anyone ever seen evidence of that? Of the record number of job-killing regulations? Because I've looked it up. I can't find it. If somebody finds that, please do.
I think it was a bigger and more important element than even the tax
I don't want to be Trump endorsed. I don't want to lose.
cuts, which are the biggest in history.
No, the tax cuts were not the biggest in history. They're not even close.
We fixed our broken trade deals. We replaced the worst trade deal probably ever made, NAFTA, with the USMCA. That's Mexico, Canada. And if you probably heard, they want to
And the US.
renegotiate the deal because they're not happy with it. I said, well, we lived with NAFTA
Well, at the time, you said it was a win-win-win.
for so many decades. Why don't you live with this deal for a few decades, and then we'll start talking about it. But I just hope they don't. You have to stop it from happening. They want to
What?
renegotiate the deal because it's a great deal for us, and it's fine for them. But
Yeah, everyone watching here today in this small auditorium, you have to stop it from happening. Come on.
it's not. It ain't what they had. Let's put it that way. They had one of the worst deals for this country. It ain't what they do because it's a great deal for us, and it's fine for them. But it's not. It ain't what they had. Let's put it that way. They had one of the
Okay.
worst deals for this country ever. You know, they made typos in the deal when it was originally done decades ago, 3 decades ago, NAFTA. And they were big typos, like numbers and percentages that were much higher in their favor. And they never changed them. They were too lazy. They'd go, oh, so we pay an extra 5%. Talking about trillions and trillions.
No, you put tariffs on them.
Billions of dollars. Can you imagine? You know
What?
that, right? They made changes. They didn't even ask for them, but they made mistakes, typos, I guess. And they didn't change them. They just
That's
left
not
them
true.
that way. The hell with it. Don't worry
That's not true.
about it. It's only a few billion a
That's a completely made up story.
year. And we
That is a fabricated story about fabrication.
stood up to China like no president in history.
Why?
Charging.
Why? These are the things that blow my mind about Trump. He lies when it's completely unnecessary and doesn't make him any bigger or better. He just loves belittling anyone else so much that he makes up these lies. Like the one that Daniel Dale always, I think, is his favorite, is the Michigan Man of the Year. There's no such award, but he's bragged about it on many occasions for no good reasons. He's a billionaire. Enjoy. He's had his own television show. He's almost won an Emmy Award. I've won 2. But that's good. It's an honor just to be nominated. Here's a nomination for an Emmy Award. I found this right there. Look at that. And it's oh, I'm going to cut myself. It's mirrored. It's back. See? It's an honor. Did I win that? Hold on. Did I win that time? I did. I won that time. Anyway, good job, though, with the whole presidency thing. That's something nice.
Them billions and billions of dollars in taxes and in tariffs when
Yeah.
they had never paid us 10 cents. We saved our steel industry. We saved a lot of industries, and we were bringing back a lot of business, too. We created over...
By the way, those tariffs are still on all over the place, including 25% tariff on Ukrainian steel. And the Ukraine right now is having a little bit of an issue. Somebody should drop that tariff.
7 million new jobs. We lifted 7 million people off food stamps. We lifted 10 million people off of welfare in a short period of time.
And then COVID was also during you. And what happened there?
We achieved the largest poverty reduction in more than 71 years. And we had the
And then Biden topped that.
lowest African American and Hispanic American in almost every single group. In fact, every single group
Nope, not every single group. That is a lie.
in terms of poverty rate in recorded history.
Nope, that's a lie.
We had for the first time, and it's not even close, over 160 million Americans working. It's not even close
That's very close.
today. You know, we keep hearing about their employment numbers. Their employment numbers are phony numbers, Steve. You'll get up and devote about 10 minutes to that later, please. But you don't need 10 minutes. You need about 30 seconds. It's ridiculous. Their numbers are bad, but we had 160
He says Steve, and I'm not sure which Steve that is. I assume it's Kevin McCarthy.
million people working a year and a half ago. We approved the Keystone XL, the Dakota Access pipelines. We opened...
He approved, oh yeah, so he approved Dakota XL, the Keystone XL in 2017, but he didn't do it properly. And so it went down to multiple court challenges because he just said, I approve this, and did the executive order, and he showed everybody his executive order, and it wasn't legally binding. So it just delayed the whole thing. If it had been done properly in 2017, the Keystone XL pipeline would be active today. It would have been done. The reason that the Keystone XL pipeline isn't finished and never will be, and Keystone, the Canadian company, has announced that they've walked away from the entire thing, is because Trump fucked it up. Enjoy.
ANWR for energy development.
ANWR.
ANWR is perhaps the biggest site in the world for energy.
I thought white people, they told me, I am white, I'm not allowed to say the Anwar, but I want to, and I did. And I'll say it some more, Anwar. That guy was such an Anwar.
In Alaska, we got it done, and then Lisa Murkowski blew it. Republican, she approved somebody whose first day in office, she ended ANWR. And I didn't know too much about ANWR. A friend of mine called who was in the oil and gas business.
Early gas business.
And I was
That happens to me if I eat too much the night before.
Opposed to certain things. I was a little bit angry, so I said, the hell with Anwar. What is Anwar? I don't care. But he called up. He had no flesh in the game. He called up. He said, you know, I hear you're close to getting Anwar approved.
What is that, 14 times already on Anwar?
I said, is that a
How many times has he said the Anwar?
big deal? He said, the biggest. He said, Reagan tried and he failed. Everybody tried and it failed. Never been done. 60 years they've been trying to get it approved. Never been done. It's the biggest thing. It's the biggest oil site, biggest drilling site, maybe bigger than Saudi Arabia, they say. I said, really, that big a deal? He said, the biggest. And by the way, how's everything else? He's just telling me this. And I said,
well, so far it's a wonderful story.
everything else is fine. Get off the phone. Bonk, goodbye. I said,
Bonk. That's how he hangs up. Bonk.
by the way, you know when I said, don't worry about Anwar, get it approved. Oh, we got it approved. That's right. He talked me into it unknowingly. He still doesn't know that. But
It's great because we've got a president who doesn't know what Anwar is, doesn't care, and then he gets a phone call from a guy, and then he gets it approved. Yay! That's how the United States was designed to be governed.
unleashed energy resources like never before, and we achieved something that had never been done, American energy independence.
That is not true.
Never been done. We actually had a period of time where energy was so low, we had so much, that we had to call
That's called COVID.
up and say, you have to do us all a favor. We have to stop. We called Russia. We called Saudi Arabia. We had to hold it back. We're going to lose our energy industry.
Right.
They had a period of time where
That's called a pandemic,
it didn't work for Wall Street because you actually had to take the oil with you. A barrel of oil, you take a barrel of oil free, and they pay you $37. There was only about a 2-hour period. But, you know, during a lot of
Oil was down to below zero. That's correct.
in that area, we filled up the strategic national reserves, which
It didn't happen. Again, he did it incorrectly, and it never happened.
I've been hearing about for so long, and we filled it up for practically nothing.
Nope.
But you literally, if you were a strong person, you would take a barrel of oil and they would pay you to take the oil. That's how good we did. We did too good. So we had to sort of pull it back, Steve, right? A little bit quickly. But we did some job. We appointed nearly 300 federal judges to defend our Constitution.
One of them rated unqualified by the American Bar Association, which is a rarity, by the way. You really have to be a screw-up to get an unqualified rating from your own association. The American Bar Association said, this woman, she's never tried a case. She's not qualified to be a federal judge. And the Republicans in the Senate went ahead and approved her. And now we don't wear masks on planes anymore because this lady who doesn't understand what a word means and is unqualified to be a judge and had never tried a case before decides that she knows more than the doctors. So the next time you have a rash on your scrotum, go see a judge.
We confirmed 3 incredible Supreme Court justices. And they have some very big decisions coming up. We'll see how that works out. We achieved the most secure border in American history, ended catch and release, and built nearly 500 miles of border wall. Frankly, we were going to have the wall finished in 3 weeks. They could have finished.
That was 2 weeks last week. What happened?
It took us 2.5 years, Tom, right, to get all of the lawsuits done, mostly brought by Democrats and Democrats in Congress. 2.5 years. We won them all. And then we built the wall, and we did some job. But, you know, they never gave us credit. If there was a broken pipe lying rusted on the floor where there once was a tiny little wall that would stop like a car, and it was rusted and rotted, they called that a renovation. Even though we were building brand new, we threw the pipe away. It was all, stuff was so decayed, but they'd call that a renovation. That's not a wall, that's a renovation. No, that's a wall. But
well, it's a fence.
We had a lot of it just laying down dead, been lying on the ground for...
Well, I mean, metal is dead.
30 years in some cases. And we did a great job with the wall. It could be done in 3 weeks.
And apparently had no effect whatsoever, because now we have record illegal immigration, according to you. You just said it.
Wouldn't even let Texas use the material. It was all built, ready to be put up. Could have been done so quickly and nicely. And it's exactly what Border Patrol wanted. Tom, that's what you guys wanted, right? That exact wall. They said, we want steel, and we want rebar, and we want concrete, and then we want technology hooked into it. I said, I thought I could just throw up a nice slab of concrete. But they wanted exactly, they had to have vision, they had to have see-through, and they got to paint
Oh, that's what vision means, is to be, got it.
the wall. They got to paint it. You know, when you have steel, you have to paint it.
Sure.
They don't want to do that either.
No.
We rebuilt the U.S. military with
It's been breached more than 3,000 times, by the way. You can just cut through it with basic power tools.
nearly $2.5 trillion worth of a lot of big, beautiful dollars, and we created the
Big, beautiful dollars. Those are the best kind.
first new branch of the United States military in 75 years since Air Force, and that was Space Force, and it's turned out to be very important. You know, they laughed when they got into office. They wanted to end Space Force.
Yeah.
And they were decimated.
I don't remember anybody trying to end Space Force.
Did you remember that? They laughed at it. Oh, Space Force, that's so funny. There was nothing funny to the people that knew.
No, Louis, the wall itself has been breached, cut through, more than 3,000 times. That's coming from Customs and Border Patrol. I didn't just make that up. Look that up. You'll see.
You know that. There was nothing funny at all.
And the Biden administration is telling everyone, don't come. Biden has said it. Kamala Harris has said it. Mayorkas has said it.
And it's very important. And now we're taking the lead again in space. Russia and China were just eating our lunch in space. And now we've taken the lead. To take care of our amazing veterans, we passed VA account.
Louis, we can't really say who cares about what because we're not that person. So you don't know what Biden doesn't care about. I don't know what you don't care about.
Accountability and VA choice. We had veterans that were waiting online for months to see a doctor. And I said, if you have to wait more than 4 hours, you go out, you get a doctor, we pay the bill. And it actually made economic sense, but we did it really for the
I don't think that's it. I don't think there's a 4-hour limit of any kind.
veterans, and it was incredible. Then we also had
By the way, this was all done in 2014 under Obama.
accountability. We fired 8,000 people that were stated.
Louis, what actions have encouraged people coming to the border by the Biden administration, besides having the greatest economic growth and job growth in history? Besides that.
And sick people and horrible people that they couldn't fire. And they've been trying to get those to, in one case, 52 years, in the other case, 57 years they've been trying to get them passed. So we got them passed through Congress. They stay. And
Well, no, Obama got them passed in 2014.
It's really been incredible. We also passed a thing called Right to Try. Right to Try is we have the greatest labs in the world, the greatest doctors in the world. We have medicines that are very advanced, but they won't be approved for a number of years.
Right, and most states have right to try already, and the medical issues are all on a state level. The first year the federal right to try was in place after Trump, which is I have no problem with it. I'm like, go, you know, if you choose to try some sort of life-saving experimental drug and it keeps you alive, or it doesn't, or whatever it is, you're going to die anywhere. Go for it. Do it for yourself, or do it for the good of mankind. I hope you live. I really do. I'm 100% for that. But on a federal level, the first year that it was in place, 2 people took advantage of it. Is that good? Yes. But is it a life-changing, altering deal for the Americans in general? No, it's not.
With the FDA.
Louis, what Trump policies did he turn back?
I don't know, the FDA, they like to take their time. We push them very hard. But now people can use these medicines, right to try. They sign a document. You know, everyone said you can't get it because there's liability to the company, there's liability to the nation. If somebody dies, even though they're terminally ill.
No, Louis, you're right that getting back old jobs isn't really creating new jobs. And I'm right when I always say the presidents don't create jobs. That's not how it works. But that is the common nomenclature of the day, so that's what we do. They say it, we say it. Whoever they and we are, because I'm nobody, that's what we say. So, more job creation than any president in history, just as Trump was saying, lowest job numbers, the greatest unemployment, blah, 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 blah. All that, that's just what they say. But presidents don't actually create jobs, unless, of course, something is signed and it says, hey, we need another cook at the White House.
If somebody dies, they'll blame the nation, they'll blame the company. I said,
no, government creates more jobs than anybody. So, no, we can't agree on that. The biggest employer in most states is the government.
So here's what we'll do. Instead of having them travel to China, travel to Europe, or if they have no money, they go home and die. Instead of that, we'll do something very simple. They'll sign a document, and they'll hold harmless our country, and they'll hold harmless the drug companies. Then the drug companies said, but we don't want people that sick. in our portfolio because we want to show good results. I said, you know what we'll do? We'll have a separate list. So you can have this, and then you have a separate list.
The list
so that
goes
you
like
won't
this.
look bad. We'll have a totally separate list. People that are close to dying.
Yeah.
We have saved so many lives. There's so many people that have come up to me now and said, I'm alive today because of you and because of...
Again, it's mostly on a state level. It is rare that there's a federal right to try case.
Some other great people, some in this room, by the way, that helped us with right to try. So I don't want to take too long on something, but I will tell you something we're very proud of. That was an incredible thing. People had no hope, no nothing. And we have things that work right now. It also happens to be the greatest test. Somebody's terminally ill, there's no hope, and all of a sudden they get better. Guess what? That medicine works, right? So it's been a great thing. A lot of people living right now and living without problems right now because of right to try. One of our greatest achievements was getting the vaccine done in 9 months instead of 5.5 to 12 years. But the problem is, you know, we saved tens of millions of lives all over the world, but I can't talk about it because our base, our beautiful base of which some of you are there, you get angry when we mention the word vaccine. Don't get angry. We did it in 9 months, less than 9 months.
Okay, so the actual number of states that had right to try already was 41. So for those of you living in the 9 states that didn't, this is by 2018 when he passed the law. Let's see, who doesn't have right to try? It looks like New York does not have right to try. Hawaii, none of the territories do. New Mexico, Nebraska. Who else? That might be Jersey. I think that's Jersey. So yeah, but out of 41 states. So it's really not that many. That being said, if it's 100, if it's 1,000, if it's several thousand, good. But you didn't change the world.
That's right. Less than 9 months. And frankly, a lot of people are living today because of that. So I'll talk about it. You know, I think the other side actually poisoned
But you've been talking about it for a while now.
people on it.
Here's a map. Here's a map of the right to try states. Okay? Everybody in green, right to try already. So it's good. You know, make it federal. Good. I like it.
Because they want to try and take credit. Remember when Biden said,
Louis, what was the question again?
he didn't come up with a vaccine except he got a shot 2 months before he said that. They said, sir, you've already been given even his own side stopped him on that one. But we did.
No, Biden gave Trump credit for the vaccine, for Operation Warp Speed, the very minute he got the shot. He was sitting there, rolling his sleeve down, and he said, the administration deserves credit for Operation Warp Speed.
Did a great job on that, and it's very important, and I'm very proud of it. Think of it, 9 months, we pushed the FDA. They hate me so much. They hate me. They cannot hate anybody as much as they hate me, but we had to get them to move, and we did. And worldwide, millions and millions, in this country, millions and millions of lives. We obliterated the ISIS territorial caliphate.
Well, he just stopped that sentence in the middle because he started looking at words. Worldwide, millions and millions of lives we obliterated. What? Millions of what?
Of lives. We obliterated the ISIS territorial caliphate and
Just moving on. Just the brain was done with that thought.
terminated al-Baghdadi and Soleimani. Remember that? We had a hell of a thing. Does anyone know the story about Raising Cane? Raising Cane?
The Serb? What? Who's the Serb?
We had a hell of a thing. Does anyone know the story about Raising Cane? Raising Cane?
Does anyone know the Sir? Is he going to tell a Sir story about Raising Cane, Raising Cane?
Anybody ever hear the story? You know, we have
The Stir?
great generals. We have a great
Anybody ever hear the Stir?
military. Did anybody hear that story? No?
Stirring?
General Raising Cane. So I'm flying over to Iraq,
Yeah.
and I meet a
He's told this story before, but no one remembers it.
group of people. But before we land, they come in, they say, sir,
Central Casting. We got some generals from Central Casting.
I'm sorry, we'll have to turn the lights off on the plane. Why? We're landing in Iraq. I said, you mean we spent $6 trillion? This is toward the end. And we can't land the plane, especially Air Force One. Sir, we don't want to have any lights whatsoever in the
No, I mean, that's a safety issue, and you are landing the plane.
plane. I said, all right, good, do it. They turn off all the lights. I've never seen this. I'm like in this dark cabin. Then on top of that, they put down the shades.
He's never flown in an airplane at night.
So we're flying in.
Literally, we were flying during the day the other day. They dimmed the cabin lights.
And I go up and I sat with the pilots because I love watching them, really. These are great pilots. They're the greatest pilots in the world. The ones that fly the president are, you know, they passed every test. They did very well.
I would hope all the pilots pass all the tests. Thank you, sir.
Which makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Good-looking guy, better looking than
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. And he said,
So, but General Raisin and General... Are we going to get to this?
I said, Captain, are you sure we're okay? We're landing, right? And there's not a thing. We're landing in this open space. It's dead dark. We're landing at night. No lights in the plane and no lights on runways. I'm looking up and I'm used to it. You know, I do it a lot. I said, I like to watch it. And so
It's Chauncey Gardner over here.
I'm saying, Captain,
Yeah.
are we okay? Then he goes, 900. That means 900 feet. That's very low. 800.
It's 900 feet, exactly.
700.
Yeah.
600.
Yeah.
500.
Right.
400. I'm saying,
Oh, keep going. Does he say 300? Because this part of the story is fascinating. I want to know what happens next.
Captain,
Yeah.
we okay? I don't see any lights up there. You know, we're like ready
Well, you wouldn't see lights up there. They would see lights down there, sir. We're heading down.
to land. A few hundred feet over the ground.
Yeah.
300.
Yes. Well, that would be 300 feet over. That's when they say the 300. Not a few hundred feet. 300 feet. That's their way of saying they're 300 fucking feet above the run.
200, Captain. We got it, Mick.
200, Captain! Why is the captain saying 200, Captain? The captain says it. Just talk to himself like Trump does.
Few hundred feet over the ground. 300.
Yeah.
200, Captain. We got to make it, Captain. And boom, we land. No
Boom.
lights on the runway. No
With a
lights in the
boom.
plane. Totally dark. These guys,
A bump. You land with a bump. You don't land with a boom. You hope never to land with a boom.
they're genius. The equipment is genius, but they're genius.
Yeah. This is really great that he's sharing the story about how planes land for the past 70 years.
I say, that was a close one. In fact, I told my wife,
It wasn't.
I told my wife how brave I was. I said, boy,
Uh-huh.
that's my form of bravery.
Right? You landed the plane, sir? Is that what you did? Is that how brave you were? Or you got him in the cockpit and you were like, oh, come on, Captain. I hope they land okay, Captain.
I said, Captain. I don't know.
Captain.
That captain probably doesn't think too
Arr.
much of me, but it was a little disconcerting. And we land and we get
But I was so brave.
out, and there's a good-looking general. What's your name? He says, Kane, sir, General Kane. I said, oh,
Is he right out of Central Casting now?
good. It's nice. What's your first name? Raisin. Mm-hmm. I said, what? Sir, my name's Raisin Kane. Mm-hmm. I said, you mean like a raisin or raisin? He said, either way is okay with me, sir. But
I don't know that he says that.
my name's Raisin Kane. I said, you're the kind of guy I'm looking for. Because, you know, we had Mattis saying it was going to take 3 years to get rid of ISIS, right? 3 years, Mattis. One of the world's most overrated generals. I would say Milley's in that same category. These are the television. We have great people. Here's the purpose of this story. We have great generals, great people, great military. Then we have the television guys. They're not good, but they're not nearly as important. So this man takes me inside into this incredible, like a bomb shelter, and a real war place. And he's with another general, and then he's with a drill sergeant who's central casting. There's nobody in Hollywood.
Hey, Central Casting! What up, Central Casting?
He's going to take anybody on. And he's perfect, perfect human being. I said, I wish I had arms like that, soldier. He said, you could if you work out. I said, no thanks, it's not worked out.
He just drools over fit guys, you know? Have you noticed that? That's what happened. I was up there, Captain. He said, Billy! He said, Donnie, do you like gladiator movies? You ever been in a Turkish prison?
I said, it's too late for that, too late for that. But we had a good meeting. I said, so let me ask you a question, General. I'm hearing it's going to take 3 years to get rid of ISIS. What do you think? I said, they're wrong, sir. He said, well, General Mattis told me.
According to a couple of articles I was just looking at, a lot of people have looked for a General Raisin Cane. No one has found a General Raisin Cane. He might exist. But, yeah. This is a story from CPAC he made up one year. So, there you go. General Kane.
Me 3 years. He's wrong, sir. He's wrong. Now, how long would it take? We can do it in 3 weeks, sir. I said, what? Raising Cane. This is Raising Cane. I said, what are you talking about? We can do it in 3 weeks, or we'll have some time left over, sir. I said, so how come my Washington generals are telling me 3 years and you tell me, well, sir, they came here and they told us how to do it. I said, well, why didn't you do it the way you want it? Because that's not my job, sir. I have to take orders from Washington. I said, aren't you allowed to correct them or fight them or recommend? Sir, I really can't do that. I really have to do what they say. They come in, whether they know what they're talking about or not, that's what we have to do, sir. There are superiors we have to do. I said, I don't know. We may have to change that system a little bit, but I said, I don't know. He said, so why can you do it? Well, sir, they had us going from this base, and we're very far away.
We didn't have to change that. I don't like that the military, you got to do what your superiors tell you to do. I don't like that at all. Who's in charge of the military?
From ISIS. And by the time the plane got there, we had to turn back and come back. We hardly had any fuel left. And we have many different places that we can take off. And I'd take off from every one of them, sir.
Yeah.
I'd hit them from the left. I'd hit them from the right. I'd knock the shit out of them, sir. We'd hit them all over. We'd hit them from the top and from the bottom. They
No cheers for the S word. He's in the wrong crowd for that.
wouldn't know what the hell was happening. And
He doesn't know what the hell's happening. I don't know what this. Why is he telling this story right now?
you think you can do it in 3 weeks? Yes, sir. Less time than that, sir. I said, I'm going to have to go back to Washington
This is a Sir story, by the way.
and think about this, Raising Cane. And I did, and I spoke to him on Monday. I said, you sure about that, Raising Cane? Yeah, I'm sure about that, sir. So we'll call you back. And sure as hell, we called back a short number of weeks afterwards. Sir, they're all finished, except there's a large group out there, a very large group, and I'd like permission to finish it off, sir. And he said, well, these are human beings. No, sir, they're animals. These aren't human beings. These are tough, hardened people, sir. And I said, well, let's see what you can do, Raisin. Maybe you can talk them out of it. And he said, you can't do that, sir. I said, will they surrender? Maybe surrender? They don't know what's...
Marcy just sent me something from the Air Force. There is a Major General, Thomas P. Kane. I don't know if Raising is a nickname, much like Mad Dog Mattis that Trump loves so much. Doesn't anymore, but you know. I don't know. There is a general, a Major General Kane.
Surrender means, sir, they have no idea. When you say the word surrender, these are not people that surrender. I said, you know what, take some of those F-18s or F-16s or F-15s or F-35s, whatever the hell you're flying, and you fly them over them and do it for a day or so. Let's see how they react. He said, I can tell you now, but I'm going to do that, sir. And he did, calls back. He said, sir, just give me the order, please. I said, what happened? Nothing, sir, zero. They have no fear, sir. They're a different kind of person, if you want to call them a person at all. I said, all right. General, I guess you have to do your job, don't you? Huh? I do my job, sir. And that was the end of ISIS. We destroyed ISIS, the entire ISIS caliphate. Think of that. We have great...
Was it in Afghanistan?
We have great generals. We have
What?
the most...
I got lost in the 300, 200, 100, and he's laying down those dollar bills, slapping them down. 100! 200!
incredible military, which I totally rebuilt. We had planes that were older.
Edge, play the blues.
The grandfather, you've heard. The grandfathers are flying planes. We're flying planes that now the
They're flying Panes. Panes for Canes. It's my favorite charity.
grandfathers, you've heard. The grandfathers are flying planes. We're flying planes that now the
Grandfathers, they used to fly planes, and now we fly Panes. We've gotten rid of the L word. Nobody likes to be associated with the L word. It's a big L.
children are flying. Same exact plane. All of that stuff's been replaced. It's all new, or it's coming in, but we did.
We're coming in with Panes. We've made them smaller. We've gotten rid of the unnecessary. They call it superfluous.
$2.5 trillion, and we're very proud of it. And I tell you this, sir, though, because we have incredible soldiers. We have unbelievable, tough, brave soldiers. And, you know, not what you see. It's not what we did in Afghanistan. Most of the military, when they saw that, they moved the soldiers out first. You could ask a child, what do you do? I told the story where I asked a 5-year-old child, what would you do? I said...
That's how he governs. Phone calls and 5-year-olds.
We have this situation, we have soldiers. Would you move them out first, or would you move them out after our American people come in and our
That's because you don't behave yourself, Marcy. That's why we kicked you out.
hostages come in? And after we take out our $85 billion worth of equipment, the child says, I'd leave the soldiers to last, sir. And I
That's
said,
the child? Does this child have a serious cigar addiction? Hold on. Here's Trump's child voice. Listen to the serenity and the cherubic nature of the vocalization.
The child says, I'd leave the soldiers to last, sir.
I'd leave the soldiers to last, sir. You know what I'd do? I'd come up behind the Kong and I'd smear those gooks all over the hillside, sir.
What 5-year-old are you talking to?
And I said, you're right about that. But these people didn't do that. They took the soldiers out.
He's doing a character from Apocalypse Now. He's not doing a 5-year-old.
You know what I want? I just want to go down and take my nappy after a nice juice box and a cheese stick.
First, and that's when everything happened. It was a disaster. It was probably the most embarrassing moment, in my opinion, in the history of the United States. And we've had a lot of pretty big embarrassments over the last year and a half, including at the border. The border's so bad. But I think it was the single most embarrassing. And I don't think that Putin would have gone in had he not seen that, even with them there.
I wish they were showing the crowd getting up and leaving.
I think when he saw that, he said, that's gross incompetence. I can finally do the Ukraine thing because Trump is not here. Trump is here. If Trump is here, he's not doing it. But I think that's what happened. He saw the incompetence. He saw what happened. He saw our military. That's not our real military, what happened there.
What?
That's not. We lost 13 great young people. And I met many of the parents, and they are just devastated because that should have never happened. And all of those horribly wounded soldiers, horribly wounded soldiers, should have never happened. We recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and built and opened the American embassy in just 3 months. Recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. They weren't even expecting that one. I got them that. They were working on that for 52 years. They never got, they'd have meetings once a year. The planes would fly in, they'd fly out. Just a waste of time. I got it done immediately. Created peace in the Middle East with the historic Abraham Accords, and we brought our troops.
That was not peace in the Middle East. Because guess what? Palestine wasn't involved in any of the Abraham Accords.
Back home. We brought them back home.
Uh-huh.
And most importantly, I terminated the Iran nuclear deal, which would have, I think, meant perhaps the end of...
Is that what you think? Is that... you're talking right now? And it's something that you think? Thank you for clarifying that.
Of Israel. I think it meant perhaps the end of Israel. That was the most important of all, and now they want to put us in a new Iran deal, and it's just not even believable. It's not even believable. And you know that...
No, I believe it.
Representing us on certain...
Having a deal to stop countries from having nuclear weapons? I believe that.
Other deals happens to be Russia and China. You know about that? We have Russia and China representing us on a certain deal.
Well, no, we're represented as well. It's multinational. Okay.
How do you think that's going to work out? Do you think that's going to work out good? It's
I
not
hope
even
so.
believable.
I mean, it worked out last time fine, and then you tore the thing up for some reason.
This stuff isn't even believable. So they're our primary representative. With the help of many people in this room, we saved our country once, and together we swear that we will save our country again. Because our country is going to hell. The critical job of institutions such as Heritage is to lay the groundwork, and Heritage does such an incredible job at that. And I'm telling you, with Kevin and the staff, and I met so many of them now, I took pictures with among the most handsome, beautiful people I've ever seen. I didn't like that picture.
Stop! You're just saying
lose
that
picture,
it's true.
please, would you, Kevin? But this is a great...
Okay.
No, he says I won't do that. But this is a great group, and they're going to lay the groundwork and detail plans for exactly what our movement will do and what your movement will do when the American people give us a colossal mandate to save America. And that's coming, because nobody can stand what's happening right now. Only a fool or somebody that hates our country can like what's happening right now.
What a fool believes he
Never been in this position
sees.
before. And already we know a very big part of our agenda. Every policy of the administration. You take a look at this whole thing coming out of the Biden group. The Biden administration should be quickly reversed by a new Congress, and every policy of the Trump administration should be immediately
I am so bored with him right now.
restored. On day one,
Go back to telling about how planes land. I like planes.
when the next president sets foot in the Oval Office, or even better, or before,
What?
it's all they had to do is go to the beach. Just go to the beach.
Go to the
border was
beach.
Tom. The border was the best in the recorded history of the border. Yeah, everything was good. We had guys like Holman. They have very gentle people, very nice people. I don't even think they're nice people. They're causing massive death. They're causing
You just said they
massive,
were nice
massive
people.
death. You have to see these caravans. People are coming up. They're dying. The women are being raped at a level that nobody's ever seen before. It's a horrible thing that's happening.
What?
But that all means
Yeah,
restoring.
it's a dangerous journey. But what evidence do you have of women being raped at a level never seen before?
Energy independence, ending catch and release, stopping the socialist spending spree, confirming pro-Constitution judges. We had a thing called Remain in Mexico. How good is that? How simple a term is that? Just like right to try is a great term. Remain in Mexico, meaning they couldn't come into our country. Mexico, you think that's easy, getting that from Mexico? Everyone laughed when I said, no, we're going to have them remain in Mexico. They said, sir, you got to be kidding. We've been trying that for 40 years. Are you kidding, sir? They actually, were they thinking about an Article 25 when I said that, right? They don't think about it now. The 25th Amendment, they don't think about that now at all, right? They never mentioned the 25th, but they would mention anytime I had a great idea, 25th Amendment, there's something wrong with it. That's why I took the aptitude test and I aced it, according to Doc Ronnie and a whole group of doctors. I aced that aptitude test. And that's a test that
A whole group of doctors now. A whole group of doctors had to administer that 25-question Montreal test. A whole group of them. Can we confirm that that is, in fact, a camel? Do we all agree? Everyone in favor? Aye? Aye? Nay. God damn it, Steve. It's a camel. It's a camel. No, it's not a horse wearing a hat on its back. Yeah, we're going to go with camel. So, yeah, that's one for... The judges agree.
even some geniuses in this room will not do that well on, I will tell you. It's not that easy a test.
It's a really easy test.
They show the
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
first one or two questions. They're pretty easy, Sean.
Yeah.
You know, the first ones. When you get up to question number 28 and 29 and 30, you got to be okay.
Oh,
Believe me.
yeah.
But it is amazing. You know, when I did that, it all stopped. Then they said, he's a
They give this test to Alzheimer's patients.
dictator. First they said, not too smart. Then I did that. They said, well, that all went away. I really did that.
No, you're still not too smart.
And I said, Doc Ronnie, I got to take a test. He said, you know, the problem is, sir, this is essentially a public place, one of the great hospitals of the world, right?
Yeah.
He said, but, you know, you have a series of doctors sitting there and all.
The problem is that it's a public place?
If you do badly, the word's going to get out. I said, I know that. How tough is it? He said, it's very tough. I said, ooh, let's give it a shot.
It's not tough. You can look up Montreal Cognitive Test online. It's not that difficult.
And I did it in front of a panel, and we aced it. And
I don't remember anything about a panel before. Is he just making this up now?
one person said, that's
Bye,
the first
Barnacle,
time
please.
I've ever seen anyone ace it. Isn't that nice? So all of that stuff stopped, Steve. It was very nice, okay? But then they made me a dictator
Which Steve does he keep talking to?
instead. In other words, I don't know, which would you rather be, a dumb person or a dictator? I don't know. Perhaps a dictator would be better. I don't want to be a dumb person. With the right leadership, we can erase the Biden nightmare. We can rescue the American dream faster than anyone ever thought possible. But we cannot be satisfied merely to turn back the clock to 2020 or 2019. The potential of our movement and the Republican Party itself is so much greater than that. We need an
He'll still be talking in 26 minutes, by the way. Right side will probably, they usually delete their stream after they broadcast the live stream, so we might not get to the end of it. I don't know where else it is. If somebody else finds it somewhere, let me know.
organization like yours working on the next generation of policies for a post-Biden, post-COVID world. And if I didn't have confidence in your new leadership and all of the people that I've met and so many that I knew of but didn't know, I wouldn't be here tonight. I'd be sitting home enjoying myself. Now I'm working my ass off and enjoying myself.
It's not really working your ass off. You're just standing in front of some people with low energy, telling stories about how planes land.
But I want to congratulate, Madam Chairman, I want to congratulate you and Kevin on everything that you're doing to encourage new thinking, embrace new directions, and keep heritage at the vanguard of the conservative movement.
Nothing really.
And the conservative movement is making tremendous strides, and everyone knows it, and every mistake they make.
Well, see, the whole idea behind the conservative movement is not to make tremendous strides. You want to keep things the same. That's what conservatism is, but okay.
Is one thing good, they realized that we got it right. One of the most...
Marjorie Taylor Greene? Is she testifying tomorrow? I don't even know anything about it. Tell me more.
Urgent tasks, not only for our movement, but for our country, is to decisively defeat the climate hysteria hoax. The ocean is rising. It's rising.
Yep, it is.
It's coming. It's within...
It's happening already.
In 300 years, we're going to gain 1/100th of an inch.
Nope, it's far more than that. It's already happening.
The ocean. Going to have a little more beachfront property. It's going to be a terrible thing.
No,
it's
you would have less beachfront property if the oceans rise, idiot. I would rather not be a dumb person and a dictator, and so I thought, why not be both?
The whole thing is it's so crazy. And you know, just in a simple way, China has a very dirty country. India is very dirty. Air is very dirty. Water is very dirty.
No, I might wake up early tomorrow. What's it on? What is MTG talking about?
Japan.
Is she testifying in front of Congress?
Even and many others, they dump in the ocean. Russia is a very dirty country. You look at Arctic ice, it's black. They call it black ice. You know, I got black factories. So we're going to have nice and clean. The problem is the air goes up and then it starts to move. It moves. The air goes up in China and it moves.
Yeah.
It takes about a week and a half and it moves across the Pacific and it hits Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
May it be Los Angeles, but it hits our country.
Did you say may it be Los Angeles? That Los Angeles should have dirty air? Because you know what? I'm in Los Angeles and I'm an American. Is that what he said?
It moves. It takes about a week and a half and it moves across the Pacific and it hits Los Angeles, right? May it be Los Angeles, but it hits our...
Yeah. Yeah. He's hoping that Los Angeles gets hit with dirty air. So, thank you, Mr. President for all Americans.
Country. And they dump their garbage in the ocean.
Garbage.
And the ocean tides flow and they hit, guess what, our west coast. And did you ever see the tons and tons and tons of garbage that we pull out? It comes from Asia, it comes from India, it comes from all over,
comes from us too.
A lot comes from China, tremendous from China. They dump in the ocean, it floats over to the United States. And then we clean our air and we clean everything. How stupid are we?
Well, no, the idea is not to clean the air, the idea is to keep it clean. So don't pollute in the first place. That's how that works.
How stupid are we? It goes up.
Well, I mean, if we're stupid, then we wouldn't understand that the world as a whole shares the air. But we do understand that, so we do our part to try and keep as much as possible clean. If we were stupid, we wouldn't understand that, and we would just say, screw it, let's just pollute everything. Let's get out of the Paris Climate Agreement. That's what stupid people would do.
And then we say, there's something wrong with our air. What's wrong? In the meantime, our factories can't perform. They want us to use wind, intermittent wind. I always say when I was running and we ran a great race, we did much better the second time than we did the first time.
And you lost.
Much better by many millions of votes.
Yeah.
But we're running and I tell the little, it's sad, it's a joke, but
it's interesting. He keeps brushing on the whole like rigged election thing from 2020, but he's not really getting into it like he usually does. He knows his crowd would just not buy it.
It's not a joke. Darling, I'd like to watch the president tonight on television. No, you can't. The wind isn't blowing.
Yeah, this is a hypothetical story. This is complete fiction.
Right? The wind isn't blowing. There's no television tonight, darling. The wind isn't blowing.
And no one has invented batteries yet, so we can't.
By the way, our house went down to about 30% of the value because we're near a windmill that makes a lot of noise, kills.
No house is down to 30% of its value right now. Record house prices. By the way, sucks if you want to buy a house, but if you actually own a house, like X number of millions of Americans, your net worth has gone up 15% in the last year because of your house. Thank you, Biden.
kills all our birds and ruins the landscape. Other than that, it's a wonderful
It's by the way, it's lack of supply in the housing market. That'll fix itself.
thing for the environment. These people are crazy. But they're radical climate people, and I don't believe they mean it.
Yeah, I think somebody probably hacked the Twitter feed, folks. So somebody hacked someone's Twitter account, and everyone got kicked out of the Twitter chat that you guys are in. So make another one. Somebody make another one. We'll all go in there. This is why, by the way, I try and keep some personal things out of the Twitter sphere because there's some bad people out there, and I get random attacks trying to change my password on a regular basis. If you don't already have two-factor authentication, in other words, whatever app you're in, Twitter or whatever, get in there and say, make sure that you text me if somebody tries to change my password. And they have to get that number from the text. That's the way to protect yourself. If you just have one password and it's your dog's name or a birthday or whatever it is, and you don't have that two-factor authentication, you can get hacked. So take the time right now. If you don't have the two-factor authentication turned on for Twitter and YouTube, etc., turn it on. And every once in a while, you're going to have to confirm with the code they sent you on your phone. Turn it on. So yeah, somebody make a new. If everyone's banned, I can't get into it, so I'm kicked out. But if somebody make a new one, and then we'll all go there.
They can't mean it because it's.
Oh, and the video's unavailable. So that was the end of the broadcast too. Good timing. So it's there, but it's not there. Let's go to RSBN and see if they have it on the website. So there's approximately, well, I can tell you, 28 minutes left. Not that it's even worth watching, but let's go have a look-see. Right Side Broadcasting. It looks like Right Side Broadcasting came in and checked out our broadcast. I appreciate Right Side Broadcasting. I do. They open up the Pandora's box of Trump's mind and show it to us. I appreciate the services that they give me. And I have, in fact, I donated money to Right Side Broadcasting at some point a long time ago because they were the only ones covering certain rallies that were key that we keep an eye on. Let's see. This is Twitter. Let's go to their website and see if we can somehow go back a little bit. This is their live stream. Live. RSBN Live. Okay, this is Rumble. It's taking me to Rumble. Let's see.
Basically communist as you can get.
Okay, that's previously aired, so this is old stuff. Let's go to Rumble itself. And by the way, I looked at broadcasting on Rumble using the live stream to broadcast there as well. Rumble wants to charge me like $20 a month in order to live stream on Rumble, and nobody is there but right wing nuts. So I think it would ruin it for you guys. Let's go to, I don't even know, live. How do I search Rumble? Here we go. Trump Heritage. See, Rumble is, here we go. It says live. We'll go to. It says exclusively on Rumble. It's probably going to be the delay again.
And they're challenging my candidacy.
Yeah, this is previously aired. So this is what they're showing after the Heritage speech that we just saw. Are we able to see that delayed? Trump Heritage again. We'll type that in. We might be done for the day, guys. Oh, this is Patriot News Online. Patriot News Outlet. Let's say who they were. Oh, it's 30 seconds long, so that's not going to work. Jeff Mack broadcast it live. 4 views, 25 rumbles. 25 rumbles sound great. I don't know what that means. Let's see what this is about. This might be somebody talking about what we're talking about. Just one moment while I find the next feed. This is very zen and meta all rolled into one. He's trying to do exactly the same thing I am. He's trying to find another thing, which is why I appreciate Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm sure someone's going to say that I said something defamatory because in impersonating Trump, impersonating a 5-year-old, impersonating someone from the Vietnam era, I used a derogatory term about the Vietnamese. By the way, love me some Vietnamese. Love me the new VinFast automobile from Vietnam. It's an electric automobile. They're coming out with several of them. Their whole lineup's going to be electric, and it's got some cool technology. So if you're looking to buy an electric car 1 or 2 years down the line, check out the VinFast. VINFAST. It's actually, someone said it's an acronym of a Vietnamese word. I don't know. But I'm very pro-Vietnamese when it comes to electric vehicles. Very anti-Trump when it comes to impersonations. His 5-year-old, just the worst. Let's do it again. Let's see. Okay, so I want to cover the Piers Morgan thing. There was a little audio of it released today because somebody from Trump's... do you guys want to listen to the audio that Trump's people released from the Piers Morgan thing? Well, let's listen to that because I don't think I'm quite done today. Let's not do that. That's Birds Aren't Real. How do we find it? Here we go. Donald J. Trump and home, and there should be a news thing. News. And I don't want to sign up for anything. Thank you very much. Just here we go. Statement 420. Is that it? These are all statements. Piers Morgan. Here it is. Listen to the audio here. So this is SoundCloud. Here we go.
We need a. We're an hour in, so we need a wrap.
A few quick questions and then.
Thank you.
One of the big questions being put to lots of politicians right now is, what is a woman?
I'm not going to respond to the question, but a woman.
Okay, I can just hit it pause. Piers Morgan, I'm going to turn the volume up on this one for you guys. Piers just asked him, what is a woman? And Trump said, I'm not going to respond to that question. Okay. But remember how the right wing mocked a potential justice for the Supreme Court because she wouldn't answer that same ridiculous question.
Is a woman is somebody that swims at a certain time and doesn't get beaten by 38 seconds by somebody that...
A woman is someone who swims at a certain time
One of the other questions.
and doesn't get beaten by someone else by 38 seconds. That's what a woman is. But he didn't respond to the question.
About potentially running again is, you've been in that pressure cauldron of the White House with your family.
What does your family think about you potentially running again? Because you've been in that pressure cauldron of the White House with your family. What do your son and your wife think about that? Is the question.
Will come under huge attack. The children, your wife Melania.
So this was put out because of a promo that Pierce put out. Let's just take a look at that. Hold on. I'll bring it up on another page here. Twitters. And let's see, how do I find that? Piers. Give me trending. Piers Morgan is trending. And let's see if I can see the video for it. People are very upset about this promo that Piers Morgan put out. Okay. And here's the New York Post. Here we go. So the New York Post is saying Trump walks out of explosive Piers Morgan interview after being pressed on 2020 election. Does he though? So now Trump has released audio that his communications staff recorded to show that he did in fact walk out of an explosive interview. Here it is.
From the bottom of our hearts.
St. Jude. Support St. Jude, by the way, if you're local to St. Jude or not. If you got $10, give it to St. Jude. Good organization. Here we go. God damn it, I just went to St. Jude. That's not what I was trying to do. Sorry, St. Jude. Okay, no, not trying to do that either. How about just playing?
Okay, Piers, I'm ready.
A former president in denial.
I'll be completely straight with you to your face.
I think I'm a very honest man. Much more honest than you, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a free and fair.
God, he's sweaty.
You lost.
Only a fool would think
You
that.
think I'm a fool?
I do now, yeah.
With respect.
Excuse me.
Okay, with respect,
The
you haven't
legislature-
produced the hard evidence.
Excuse me.
The most explosive interview of the
I
year.
don't think you're real. This
I
is
realize
just
I'm not like-
very
I
dishonest.
just-
Let's finish up the interview.
Morgan versus
Turn the
Trump.
camera up. Very dishonest.
Okay, it does appear as at the very end he said turn the camera off, and he called him very dishonest as he walks away. And now they've put out the audio of the ending of the interview. It's 7 minutes and 30 seconds long in order to refute that. let us watch and comment on it.
Would you be happy to put them back in there? Would they be happy to be back in there?
Would your wife and son be happy to go back to the White House?
Well, I won't get into that, but I will tell you they all love the country, and we did a great
He won't answer it. I won't get into it. Okay.
job. I did a great job as president. We had, I think, the best numbers probably of any, even the rebuilding of the military, the right to try.
We had the best numbers.
Every single thing we did was
We had the best numbers as president. The best numbers.
a home run.
We had 7s. We had a 14. One time we had a 23. America was up 47% under my administration.
And then we did incredibly on warp speed when this China virus came in. We did a
Are
great
you glad that the vaccine program worked? I know that I was surprised, I'll be honest, but I was pleasantly surprised that you came out and said that you'd not only been fully vaccinated, but you thought other people should be too.
Well, we saved tens
Yeah, so Pierce, well, I think you could hear Pierce there. If you guys can't hear something, let me know.
of millions of lives. Maybe this would have been the Spanish flu of 1917
Spanish flu of 1917. There it is.
had we not come up. And I got it done in 9 months as opposed to, they were projecting from 5 to 12 years. I got it done in 9 months, so I'm very proud of it.
You were great
I'm
with the
against
vaccine.
mandate.
mRNA technology got it down to 9 months. In fact, they were done in a weekend. That's how long it took the computers at Moderna to come up with the vaccine. A weekend.
Mandates.
Right.
Strongly against mandates, but I'm very proud of what we did. I saved worldwide tens of millions of lives.
Listen to that. I'm very proud of what we did. I saved worldwide tens of millions of lives. This is a man with a God complex. He thinks he saved tens of millions of lives. Him.
One last question.
Do you accept that early on?
So that's the communications officer or staff member, I don't know exactly who it is, saying, one last question. We're wrapping this up. Okay.
On in the pandemic, that you didn't take it serious enough, or you were being told how serious it was,
No,
but
I
you
don't.
weren't sharing that with the American people.
I'm a cheerleader for this country. I want to be positive for this country. Everything seriously, and I take that very seriously. But I'm a cheerleader for this country. And our country is better than any.
He's a cheerleader for this country, not really answering the question at all. The question was about downplaying the virus at the beginning of the pandemic.
Anybody else. We've done a great job.
A final question, President Trump. It'd be good to catch up
So Pierce he's already got the one more question. Now he's saying final question.
after this lengthy time. It's been a tumultuous time for the world, the country. There is a chance that you're going to be running. Quite clearly, you've made that clear in this interview.
I don't think I made it.
There is a chance that you'll be running quite clearly. You've made that clear. Trump says, I don't think I've made that clear.
You said you were going to
I
be
think
happy.
that's it, but I think people are going to be. I think there'll be people unhappy, but I think people are going to be very happy.
To those
I think people are going to be very happy, he says.
who don't like you, there's people out there that don't like you. I know you said recently that you were very popular, and I think you're the most honest
There's people out there that don't like you. I know you said very briefly you were popular.
man in the world. Last week.
I'm a very honest man.
Was that true?
Yeah, I think I'm a very honest man.
So to those who don't like you,
Much more honest than you, actually.
really?
Yeah.
Now he's saying he's much more honest than Pierce Morgan. He says he's a very honest man, much more honest than you, Pierce Morgan.
I'm pretty honest.
Because I don't think you're real.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm
He doesn't think Pierce Morgan is real.
a much more honest person.
This is what we saw in the trailer. Sorry. Are people still here? I'm watching the feed, and the feed's excellent, but people keep getting whacked out of the room and coming back. So I think we might be under attack right now. Oh well. So all right.
In most ways, in most respects.
Let me just check my phone and see if someone's trying to hack my password. Give me a second here. And nope, not so far. Not so far. Not recently, anyway. Okay, and let's go back.
Am I not real?
But we're not going to get into that. Let's finish up the interview. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
my question was this. What message do you have to people who can't think of anything worse than you running again and will be distressed about it? Would you come back with all the experience you've had of being president? Would you come back a different person? Would you do things a bit differently?
So I like this question in a certain way because
If you come back, would you do things differently, is what he said. Asked. Mark says, can you restart the chat group? I don't know how. I can't get into the chat room. It's gone. I mean, if I go to my messages and then I click on chat, it's not there. It won't let me in there, so I can't restart the chat room. I think a new chat room has to be enabled or created or something. Not my thing. I mean, I can try and figure it out, but I think that chat room's done.
I came in and I was attacked from day one. Unfairly, Russia was a hoax. The impeachment hoax, number one, number two. It was all a big hoax. The Mueller report.
So the question was, would you change anything? And his response is, I came in on day one, I was attacked by the media.
And I had to fight back, and I had to fight back strongly. And if I didn't fight back strongly, I wouldn't have survived. And I say
He had to fight back, and he had to fight back strongly, or he wouldn't survive.
it, and I say it loud. I had two jobs to do. Run the country really well, and the second was to survive. No other president went through this fake stuff where fake things were made up like Russia. I'm the one that ended the pipeline. I'm the one that put all those sanctions on. I'm the one that saved NATO. NATO was dead. They had no money. They were broke. And
They were not broke.
I got the money to pour in from countries that would have never given it. If I
Money started ramping up after the recession about 3 years before Trump even got there.
wasn't the way I am, you know what would have happened? I wouldn't be there for 2 weeks.
Okay, again, the question is, what would you do differently?
Now, would I like to be a little bit different? Yes, but if I didn't act the way I acted, it would have not been the great success.
I only asked you, when we did Celebrity Apprentice together, which I really enjoyed.
That's the last question, please.
Yeah. When I did that with you, I saw a very different Donald Trump in the boardroom for those hours every night.
I missed that. Let's listen to that again. I saw a very different Donald Trump
You were, you weren't as aggressive and confrontational.
Except I wasn't under siege.
When I knew you, you weren't as aggressive and confrontational. Joanna, you're still in the chat. See if you can invite Marcy back in. And then invite me back in. Although, do we really want to go back into the same chat room to get... I don't know. Maybe it's a Twitter error, too. I have no idea.
That's what I mean.
With phony Russia.
Hold on, let me go look. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at the chat room with the picture that Marcy sent me, but let me click on the hello and I'll say hi and see if it goes. Okay, I'm in the chat room. Jojo fixed the chat room. So go back into the chat room, somebody. Marcy, go back into the chat room. For those of you watching this, sorry, this is Inside Baseball. Some of the followers also are in a chat room on Twitter. If you want to be in that chat room, apparently you have to hack that chat room. So go check and see. Okay, At Random is in the chat room. So maybe it was just a Twitter error. People got booted. See if you can get back in. Let's see. Marcy, Stephanie, Andy, Kimchi, Tracy, Allison. Those people were all listed as having left the chat room. Marcy, you're here. Are you able to see it? If not, we'll invite... Hold on, let's see. How do I... What's Marcy's... Oh, here we go. I'll do this. Let's see if I can add somebody. Sorry, guys. This is not... this is Inside Baseball. And... Yeah, it looks like people kicked you out of the chat room. How do I add you back in now? But there's still a bunch of people in there. Let's see. You follow each other. Let's see. I just put your name in the chat room, Marcy, to see if I can get you there. Info. Add people. Here we go. Bing and add. Okay, so Marcy, you're in. I'm going to bestow the responsibility on you or whoever wants it. You've got the little JPEG you sent me with everyone who was kicked out. See if you can figure out what their Twitter users are, and then I'll show you. Let's see if I can show you the process. Yeah, at the very, very top, there's an I button, an info button, and it says details. Click that, and then it's group info, and then you can add people down at the bottom. So you have to figure out their username on Twitter and then invite them into the group. There you go. And Joanna, worldwide, saved tens of millions of lives.
Well, I agree with you, but the Russian collusion thing was ridiculous.
No, and many others.
Right, but my point is, if you got a chance again, would we see more of that Donald Trump, do you think?
Depends on how you do it. But if you breed it unfairly, you have to be tough and you have to fight.
Okay, so it depends. He says, would we see the more rational Donald Trump? Or basically, that's what he was saying. And it depends. It depends on how I was treated. If you treated me unfairly, then you would blah, blah, blah.
Can you're set.
But it depends on how you breed it. But I would do.
Okay, we'll remember that.
Say this,
Yeah.
If the country's in trouble, something has to happen. And if it doesn't happen, and if we don't have smart leadership, you're going to end up with no world. The world is going
We're going to end up with no world. God, I hope he's not right. Because I enjoy the world.
to be blown to pieces. We have.
Judge Janine today said, you talk to anybody and they'll tell you they're depressed. That they're having a terrible time. I'm not. I'm quite blessed. Look, and I got a little YouTube thing. I got the Stable Boy Studios. I got producer Joanna saving the day for all of us. You cannot be depressed as long as producer Joanna's alive. Come on. You know what? Jojo, you need to talk to President Trump and to Judge Janine and let them know you're around and make their life better.
Stupid people now running our country. The world is going to be blown to pieces.
Is that the last question?
The world's going to be blown to pieces.
You've done last question 4 times now, so I feel like you're lying at this point.
I'm not lying. I just haven't asked you about that.
Very deceptive.
You said
He's very deceptive because he keeps saying last question. And that is true. He did say last question.
last question 4 times.
I saw it.
This was a 20-minute interview. I think
I remember once, but it could have been more. I don't know.
it's fine. It's fine. It's
I haven't
Okay, so he says it's fine. Okay.
asked about that.
fantastic in your opinion.
I wanted to end with the hole-in-one. I just haven't asked about the hole-in-one.
Hold on.
It's fine.
I haven't asked about that.
fantastic in your opinion.
I wanted to end with the hole-in-one. I just haven't asked. I saw it.
This was a 20-minute interview. I think it's fine. It's fine.
I haven't asked about
Last question? You've done last question 4 times now, so I feel like you're lying at this point.
I'm not lying. I just haven't asked you about that.
Very deceptive. This was
You said last question 4 times.
I saw it.
this was a 20-minute interview.
There's too much crosstalk to know what he says was fantastic.
I think it's fine. It's fine.
I haven't asked about that.
fantastic in your opinion.
I wanted to end with the hole-in-one. I just haven't asked about the hole-in-one. Do you want to?
He wants to end with his hole-in-one. He wants to ask about Trump's hole-in-one. Apparently Trump says that he got a hole-in-one in golf. It happens. I've had a hole-in-one. People get hole-in-ones. My second game ever, I got a hole-in-one.
Go ahead.
But at the time I was 16, I just thought, like, this just happens. It's like mini golf.
You recently got a hole-in-one playing golf with Ernie Els, one of the great golfers of the world. What was that like
Oh,
for you?
okay. So Ernie Els was there. Good. So that's probably a legitimate hole-in-one. And it only took him, what is he, 78, 75, 76, something like that? Again, I was 16.
Well, it was great. He's a great guy, great player, one of the most.
Babe says, lucky, I only usually get one in the hole. I'm not sure what that...
swings, they say, in the history of golf, and very powerful. And I made it with him and actually 3 other tour pros, and it was quite a thrill.
Talk me through the shot.
Well, I hit the ball. It was hit well. It felt good. The wind was blowing hard into my face. It was a 5-iron that went 181 yards, and it went clank right into the hole. It landed on the green in 1 bounce, and it went clank. And Ernie, who's a low-key guy, one of the reasons he's acceptable, the Big Easy, right? But Ernie and the other pros started jumping up and down in the air. And
That's a big deal. I jump and down. Even if it was Trump doing it, I would jump up and down and celebrate that. Again, when I was 16, I had no idea. We just thought we were looking for the ball. We saw it hit the green. Good shots, par 3, Montebello Public Golf Course. My brother and I are looking around. And it's like it must have rolled like past it and gone into the tall grass over here. We're looking around over there. Then my brother's up by the tee. He's like, what number's your ball? 4. Here it is. It was in the cup. It was right in the cup. And I'm like, oh, cool, hole-in-one. No idea. No, we weren't playing with Ernie Els. We were playing with a couple of 70-something-year-olds. It was the middle of the day. It was $2. We were 16, heat of summer, and the 2 72-year-olds very upset about the whole thing. Well, one of them was. They were both happy, But the one of them was like, "You son of a bitch! I've been playing for 58 years. I've never had a hole-in-one. You lucky son!" You know, I didn't know what club to use. They were very nice. They were great people. But yeah, and I haven't played much golf since because it's so damn expensive. But I would love to. If you'd like to get me a membership at a golf course, send all the monies.
Why are you guys so excited?
I do have one of the guys at the tennis club. Remember how I just said I can't afford golf? Well, anyway, one of the assistant coaches at my tennis club. It's not my tennis club. I get to be there, but it's not mine.
Because we don't see hole-in-ones. They make, I guess, one
I help. I actually pick up the balls with the Zambali.
every 3 tournaments, and then you have to be in the group. So it's
Have you had one before?
I've had 7. This was a 7.
7 hole-in-one?
7.
He said 7 holes in one. I'm not going to bother.
This was my 7th, which isn't that high a number, believe it or not. If somebody plays golf, I hear the record is
He does play a lot of golf.
49. Okay, people.
Did you buy a round of drinks in the bar after?
I don't know, but I would certainly have been.
When you get a hole in one, you're supposed to buy everyone drinks at the 19th hole. That's the bar after the 18th hole. He doesn't do that. Of course he doesn't. He's a billionaire. Why would he?
I'm happy to.
When you don't drink,
I don't drink, no.
it is traditional. You buy a round for everyone.
That is true. That is
Did
true.
you do that?
Probably happened. That
He knows it's true. He knows that is true. Just doesn't do it.
probably happened because I own the club. I'm sure it happened.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Oh, he's sure. No. He correct. I own the club. I'm sure the club just provided free drinks for everyone. I'm sure that's what happened.
Thank you for what you did.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. That was a great interview. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Where's the camera?
Sarah, you should be.
Mike's off too.
So Pierce says that was a great interview, and Trump says, "Yeah, turn the camera off." He agreed. So it does appear as it now the ad makes it look like Trump storms off after a heated calling you a fool and thinking you're a liar interview, and that stuff was in there, but it is framed very differently than what we just heard. So in this case, I'm gonna hand it to the Trump people. But this is what the media does. This is, you want to make it sensational because everyone wants to watch Trump storm off. So you edit it, and in this case, I would say that it's edited deceptively. Shame on you, Piers Morgan. Or good job, Piers Morgan, for doing your job. It's part of it, right? More shuffling around.
Acting Department of.
And that's it. I don't know what that was. At the end there. Okay, so yeah, no, it doesn't appear. Let's go back to the walking out.
President in
I'll
denial.
be completely straight with you to your face.
I think I'm a very honest man. Much more.
And the world's gonna end. Only one man can save a world at the brink.
Worse than you, actually.
Really? Yeah. It was a free and fair election. You lost.
Only a fool would think
You
that.
think I'm a fool?
I do now, yeah.
With respect.
Excuse me.
Okay, with respect.
The
you haven't
legislature-
produced the hard evidence.
Okay, so they're interrupting each other.
Excuse me.
The most explosive interview of the year.
I don't think you're real. This
I
is
realize
just
I'm not like-
very.
I don't know that it's explosive, but Trump has had nothing but softballs since he left office. So yeah, would you say that the Jonathan Swan interview was explosive? It was good. I wouldn't call this explosive, but yeah. So this is deceptive.
Let's finish up the interview.
Morgan versus
Turn the
Trump.
camera off. Very dishonest.
When did he say very dishonest at the end there? I think they used the audio from earlier where he called him dishonest at the very end. Hold on.
Because they're not going to do that.
We need a. We're an hour.
Because I own the club. I'm sure it happened.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Turn the camera off.
Sarah, you should be.
Mike's off too.
Yeah. They used the very dishonest from earlier and placed it with Trump, a shot of Trump walking away to make it look like Trump said that as he was walking away from Pierce and he was upset about the whole thing, which is completely not what happened at all. Shame on you. Shame on the editor for putting that in there. And Pierce, if that was you, that's wrong. Don't do that. You're giving the audience an impression of something that didn't happen. You're part of the problem, friend. You're better than this, Pierce. You know that. Yep, they're just trying to get ratings. Shameful. Yeah, that's essentially, and the right does it, the left does it, da-da-da-da-da. Fine, don't do it. When I did it, when I was accused of being a deceptive liberal, when I found Matt Gaetz giving the speech and made it sound like you should exercise your Second Amendment right on people that stop your First Amendment, that's what it sounded like. And that went viral, and I posted the entire thing. Hey, if you want to see the whole thing, this is it. But you have to keep in mind how things are presented and heard by the audience. The reason that so many people went to the Capitol and stormed it on January 6th, 10,000 or however many it was, the reason that they did that was because Trump presented it in such a way that that's what they were supposed to do. Okay, so we'll probably cover the Piers Morgan thing. I don't know if we can. We'll get a copyright strike or whatever. Right Side Broadcasting, for all of the fact that they cover Trump on a regular basis, and I appreciate that. They've been in my chat room a couple of times. If it's them, could be somebody fake. They've been in my chat room a couple of times. They've never shut me down. Good. I appreciate that. But I probably want to just delete this anyway right after we're done. So there you go, folks. That was the Trump at the Heritage thing. Not all of it. Oh, should we check one more time just to see what time is it? 5:17. Okay, hold on. Let's do Rumbles again and see if it's back or something. Major upgrade for Trump's social. Truth Social is still a thing. Let's do Trump again. Trump Heritage. There it is. It remembers my searches. I like that. That's progress. Maybe we'll do MTG Marjorie Taylor Greene. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. If I'm up. Live replay. There we go. What's this? Hold on. Live replay? Let's zoom ahead here.
We'll see.
Oh, okay. So he, Patriot News for You has a separate camera. I like that.
Thank you. That includes winning the war to restore free speech in America.
Oh, cool. Okay, so we'll watch this for a couple minutes here. We might be able to see the end here. Let's see. Where were we? We're 28 minutes from the end? Let's do the math. Not that. Wait, what is this? And we will make America great again, and we'll make America wealthy and safe. So somebody get out a calculator. We'll do some math here. So 138, 28 minutes in front of that is 110. Let's 127, 110, 115, 112, 111. Let's start right here. See what happens.
People are crazy. But they're radical climate people, and I don't believe they mean it.
So if you want to see the full broadcast of this, again, we're taking this and we are commenting on it. We are reacting to it. That is what you're allowed to do on YouTube. PNO, Patriot News Online, or whatever they are, you go to Rumble like I just did, and you can search for them and you can see the whole thing.
They can't mean it.
I don't know if I'm going to watch the end of this. I'm just about done. What have we been doing this? Yeah, we're coming up on 2 hours now. Okay, we'll watch for a couple minutes.
Because it's too easy. They can't mean it. The radical left's fear-mongering about climate and our future is no longer just scaring American youth. It's destroying America's economy, weakening our society, and eviscerating our middle class. It's really hurting us.
Yeah, climate change. Climate change is eviscerating our middle class. That's what it is. Not climate change itself, but just talking about it.
And we don't have the power with green energy. I'm all for it, but we don't have the power to fire up our plants. And we don't have, I took you out of the Paris hoax accord. And
Paris hoax accord.
It's costing us trillions.
It is coursing us. It's coursing through our brains. Billions.
Trillions and trillions of dollars. It was
billions and trillions.
It sounded nice. The Paris Climate Accord. That was the good part. The rest of it was a disaster. And by the way, China doesn't kick in for another 14 years. Russia kicked in at the dirtiest point. Russia, they're having a hard time. But they kicked in at the dirtiest point.
Russia, that's the first time he said anything negative about Russia during this entire broadcast, except that they're dirty. They have dirty air. Russia having a hard time. So hard being Russia right now. I feel for you people.
India hardly kicks in at all. But us, we kick in immediately, and we have to pay a lot of money to other countries.
No,
because
it's not what happened in the Paris Climate Accord.
They're developing, like China is a developing country. India is a developing country. This is the craziest deal. Anyway, I ended it, and now I understand they're going right back into it, except it's going to be even worse than the one I ended. The deranged ideology of the Green New Deal is
didn't end it. Everyone is still in the Paris Climate Accord, except for the United States and North Korea.
Massive,
maybe one or two other countries now, but that was it at the time.
Self-inflicted economic wound. It was developed by a young woman who doesn't know a thing about the environment.
What?
She knows a lot about con jobs, but she doesn't know about the. I wonder if she goes home. AOC plus 3. You know AOC plus 3. It's AOC plus her 3 people, and they're getting worse and worse, and they're hurting our country very badly. I wonder if they go home and laugh when they're in a room together. What do you think, Sean? Do you think they go home and say, "What a bunch of stupid fools"? They're believing some. I don't think she ever took a class on the climate. I think knows nothing about it. She wasn't a good student anyway at the classes she did.
Trump has never taken a class on the climate.
It's helping fuel runaway inflation. It's causing cost of food, cars, housing, and raising a family to absolutely skyrocket. And perhaps worst of all, it's putting our country at the mercy of Iran, Russia, Venezuela. That's our new source of oil. We're going to get it from Venezuela. We're not going to take it right from there. You know, we're standing on liquid gold. We're going to get it from Venezuela. It's not even believable. All the while, we're sitting on this really incredible wealth. We have our own wealth. We have more than anybody in the world, especially with Anwar.
Not true.
We have much more under our feet than any other country in the world, and we're going to make deals with OPEC. We're back to OPEC again. You never heard the word OPEC in 4 years, right, Steve? 4 years.
No, you said OPEC all the time. You kept saying OPEC plus. And then you would explain that means OPEC plus.
Nobody ever, in fact, they were going out of business. They had a going business out of,
they had a going business out of, they had a
out of business sign up in their door, wherever the hell they're located. We are going out.
This is not a thing, but okay.
Out of business because of President Trump. Now they're back in business at a level, and they don't want to do anything. Can you imagine Biden? I don't think.
What happened there? It might be that it might be a rumble thing. Something seemed to skip on that.
I think it's him that called. I don't think so. But he has somebody called. No, I don't think he has anybody called. Somebody calls. And they talk to OPEC. OPEC isn't doing anything. We won't send you more. We're not going to lower the price. We're not going to do anything to help you. Oh, okay, good. Thank you very much. Can you believe that we put up with this stuff? It's hard to believe. But they were effectively out
I'm not doing this. This is rumble.
of business. We didn't hear that term.
We work for rumbles. They are free to give. We thank you. Oh, is rumble like a like or something? Oh, look at this. Down at the corner here. Hold on. Down at the corner. Out in the street. Hold on. Let me make it even smaller. Can I do that? Here. There, see the corner right here? There's something called a rumble. Hold on. Let's see what happens when we take. Boom. Okay. I was trying to give him a rumble, and it just went right back to the homepage. What happened? I just wanted to give you a rumble. I'm sorry, Patriot News Outlet Live. I just wanted to give him a rumble. What about this? Plus. No, I don't want to sign into anything. What happened to the rumblies? I just want to give you a nice rumbly bumbly. All right, we're done. So if you can figure out how to go give, hold on. No.
As one example.
Okay. And
Congress and the
now it catches up. It's on a huge delay. So we're gonna end it there. We might do Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, I'm supposed to call back somebody at a store. Thank you for reminding me. And I remember that because Gree rhymes with Brie, and that's the way my brain works, or doesn't. Okay, so I'm gonna make a phone call. You guys have a wonderful night, And we'll probably talk tomorrow. Maybe I'll do MTG in the morning. Oh, you know what, though? I have a doctor's appointment that I've been waiting for like 4 months for. Early in the morning. I might be able to... I think I can do both. As long as MTG isn't late. I don't even know what MTG... What is this MTG thing tomorrow? I don't even know. What happened? Biden's in Seattle? Okay. Good job letting us know. Are we okay? Do we know what he's doing there? Is he raising money? What's going on? Is he talking about infrastructure on the West Coast? Everybody's gonna care about. The Democrats really need to learn how to set the agenda and the topic of the day. They really do. They're trying to keep her off the Georgia ballot because insurrection. Right? Does she have to testify tomorrow morning in that case? Is she on trial? I know that, but what's the 6:30 in the morning thing tomorrow? RE 1600 eligibility to run again, and she's going to be testifying in Georgia? Is that what's happening? She has to testify? That's going to be behind. I'll try and broadcast it. I'll wake up early. I'll try and broadcast it if I can find it. If someone else gets a link to it, send me a DM or put it in the chat room. Send me a DM because I'm not going to find it in the chat room. Okay, kids. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others. Most importantly, join us tomorrow.